down the Defense of Marriage Act today as unconstitutional. Joining an appeals court in Boston and rejecting the law that defines marriages between a man and a woman. Now, the Supreme Court is expected to take up the case in the next year. Now, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals issued a 2-1 ruling only weeks after hearing arguments on a lower court judge's findings that the 1996 law was unconstitutional. Now, the majority opinion written by Judge Dennis Jacobs rejected a section of the law that says marriage only means a legal union between one man and one woman as husband and wife, and that the word spouse refers only to a person of the opposite sex who is a husband or wife. Now, a federal appeals court in Boston earlier this year also found it unconstitutional. The issue is expected to be decided by the Supreme Court. The decision came less than a month after the court heard arguments on September 22nd. It's because they already made up their mind. They didn't care what the arguments were. They didn't care about the arguments for or against the Defense of Marriage Act. They didn't care. Because, they're like Obama. It's the law. I don't care. I'm not going to defend it. They didn't care. They already had their opinion. That's why it took them to, we got to wait a little while and actually make it look like we adjudicated this whole thing and really thought about it. But we already know what our decision is. I wouldn't be surprised if they had the whole decision written the day after closing arguments. Now, lawyer Paul Clement, who argued in support of the law on behalf of the bipartisan legal advisor group of the House of Representatives, was traveling and did not immediately return a message for comment. Now, isn't that strange? The Congress is trying to defend a law. Folks, understand something. The executive branch, the president, by constitutional decree, is charged with upholding the law of the land. But Obama is shirking his duty. And so Congress is, somebody's got to uphold the law and defend it. Now, actually, what it is, folks, plain and simple, is dereliction of duty. And yes, that is an impeachable and convictable offense because he's not upholding the Constitution. That is the main oath of the president, to uphold, to defend, and uphold the Constitution of these United States. Obama didn't do it. Now, for all you people who like to throw around this impeachment stuff all the time, let me tell you something. That is an impeachable offense. That is an offense that can also easily bring a conviction. Dereliction of duty. And that's exactly what it is. Congress is trying to defend the law of the land. And it's supposed to be in the Constitution. It specifically says the executive branch, the president, is to do that. Congress is to write the laws. The president is to enforce them. He is the nation's chief law enforcement officer. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but yeah, it's in the Constitution. Read it. So what do I think about the Defense of Marriage Act? Look, I've already explained it. The only reason why anybody cares is simply because there's money involved. If there were no federal dollars involved, nobody would really care. Well, nobody would really care. They wouldn't. Government has no business determining marriage. That should be, federal government definitely has no business. That should be left up to your community and your state. Now, if your state's going to allow it, great. Move to that state. Well, Rod, they didn't like white and black people getting married. No, there's a difference. You see, a gay person and a lesbian person can still get married. They just have to marry a person of the opposite sex. So they can still get married. It's different when it comes, and you can, well, not all of them, but many gays and lesbians can hide their sexual preferences. It's nearly impossible to hide that you're black. Which brings up another, blacks, just an off topic. During the debate, now, I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but, I asked a question, and even on Facebook, I don't think I got a real answer, but I wasn't the only one to notice. Did anyone else notice how Barack Obama seemed to be, his skin tone seemed to be much lighter? He looked washed out. He looked pale. There wasn't, if you looked at the monitor, especially when they had, the split screen of Romney and Obama together, there wasn't much shade difference between Romney and Obama. There really wasn't. Now, I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, or if that was just the way the lights, because of the bright lights in the studio. But that really was not Obama's true color of his complexion. He was washed out. He was whitened, you might say, bleached. And that was, for a while I just kept thinking, there's something wrong with Obama. I mean, he actually showed up. He looks a little bit spirited. He seems to be paying attention, and he's trading barbs with Romney and everything. But there's something off about him. And I was sitting there trying to think, what the hell is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with Obama? He doesn't look like himself. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I had to pull it up on my computer, other pictures of him. And I'm looking at the pictures, and I'm looking at him on the screen. I'm thinking, that can't be. And then I went to watch it live on my computer so I could compare, just in case it was my computer versus my TV, different. No, I confirmed. His complexion during the debate was washed. It's like he was bleached. It's like his skin was bleached. He was pale in comparison. I'm not accusing anybody of doing it on purpose. I don't know. I just made an observation. I was not the only one to notice that, by the way. So you got to ask, hell, I was watching ABC at the time. So, and then when I looked it up online, I looked it up, I looked up pictures, and then I think it was CNN, I got the live feed online, and it's the same thing. So I'm going to assume it was just the lighting, and it really wasn't done on purpose, but it was due to light the stage or something. I don't know. But I guess Romney didn't look any whiter than he normally does. It was just Obama. Now, personally, I didn't really like it. Now, I don't think Obama would approve of. I don't think he approves. Well, I would find it hard to believe that Obama actually approved purposefully washing out his complexion. I really would. I would find that would be hard to believe for me. Because I don't think the man really likes his white half. And he is half white, folks. Remember that. I don't really think he's embraced it and likes it. I think he's disowned it. And I think you can see it in his history of all the things that he did in his college days and where he wanted to live and where he settled down and things like that. I think he disowned his whiteness. So I would find it hard to believe that he would approve of such a tactic. Now, I don't know what people had. I don't know. Maybe they thought the people that Republicans would be less racist. If he were lighter. I don't know. He looked like he was like an Italian. Maybe Sicilian or Portuguese or something, but he didn't look like Obama. He really didn't. And you notice Obama's hair has gotten a lot grayer. A lot grayer. Oh, he's turning into a silver fox. He's still got all his hair. I mean, that's fine. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You know, he's like he said on The View. You know, he's eye candy for the older set, right? Oh, because Obama's not a bad-looking guy. Neither Romney's not a bad-looking guy. Romney's a handsome man. Especially, what is he? He's like 60-something? 60, 61? He looks good. Obama is what? Obama's 50 now, right? Obama looks good. And if he colored his hair back to its original color, he'd probably look 15 years younger. Really, Obama doesn't look bad at all. He looks good. And they're both handsome guys. So that's always helpful. But, you know, some of our best presidents haven't really been very pretty. Well, let's face it. Ronald Reagan, you know, when he was president, wasn't exactly a looker. But then again, I doubt anybody could possibly say that Jimmy Carter was a looker either. I know, but a lot of people, you know, everybody just, you know, a lot of people just thought George Bush just looked dumb. Not that he was ugly or handsome, he just looked dumb. Bill Clinton was handsome. All right, he was a handsome guy. Okay, if you find that kind of look to be handsome, great. JFK was a handsome guy. Yeah. JFK was a good-looking guy. We didn't get to see JFK gray, though, unfortunately. But Obama, we get to see gray. He's gray. But I don't know if that's what was going on with the broadcast of that and why he was so washed out. I don't know. Election in 2012. Election 2012, likely voters. Trial heat, Gallup. The Gallup poll, Obama versus Romney among likely voters. Romney now leads Obama in a Gallup poll. Gallup. 52 to 45%. Now, this is significant, folks, because Romney's now above 50%. Obama's never eclipsed that 50% mark. Throughout this, campaign, once it was known once we really knew who the Republican nominee was going to be, Obama has never legitimately polled above 50%. Now I think there was a poll out there that had him at 60, and there was another one, a radical poll had him at like 57. But when you actually looked at really legitimate polls, as legitimate as they possibly can, none of them ever had him eclipsing 50% versus Romney. And then those polls that were above 50%, and even some of the polls that were close, when you looked at the numbers and who they polled, you could say it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous on who they polled, how they utilized, I don't know how many, it was like 7, 8, 9 points, 10 points, 15 points more Democrats than Republicans sometimes. And they still couldn't get Obama to win. I think that's very telling, don't you? We'll be back.
Wicked wild, wild. Wicked wild, wicked wild, wicked wild, wild west. Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. none of this. Six gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo soldier, look, it's like I told you. Any damsel that's in distress, be out of